Thank you for subscribing to our channel. Today is Wednesday, January 6, 2021. Deutsche Welle report. Germany, France and UK press Iran over nuclear enrichment. The foreign ministers of Germany, France and Britain on Wednesday jointly pressed Iran to reverse its decision to start enriching uranium to levels beyond the limits of a 2015 nuclear agreement. From Monday, Iran started enriching uranium to levels unseen since the landmark deal, having informed the International Atomic Energy Agency last week of its plans to increase enrichment to 20%. The development at Iran's underground Fordo facility puts Tehran a technical step away from making weapons-grade levels of 90%.
CNN report. UK judge denies bail for WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange. A British judge denied bail for WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange, just days after she rejected a U.S. request to extradite him to America. The U.S. said it would appeal against the decision on Monday and asked for Assange to be remanded in custody while that process was ongoing. Judge Vanessa Baratzer said in her Wednesday ruling that, there are substantial grounds for believing that if Mr. Assange is released today he would fail to surrender to court and face the appeal proceedings.
Fox report. Bomb threat causes 2 brief Capitol building evacuations as D.C. protests erupt during electoral count. There were chaotic scenes outside the Capitol while lawmakers certify the Electoral College votes on Wednesday after protests erupted and 2 buildings were briefly evacuated by U.S. Capitol Police because of a purported bomb threat. A congressional source told Fox News that the Cannon House Office Building and Madison Library of Congress Building were briefly evacuated because of a bomb threat after several suspicious packages were reportedly found in the area.
Al Jazeera report. Rights group urges Biden to end Remain in Mexico program. A leading human rights group has called on the incoming administration of President-elect Joe Biden to dismantle a migration program which the group said subjected migrants to avoidable physical and emotional harm. The administration of President Donald Trump championed 2 years ago the United States Migrant Protection Protocols (MPP) or the Remain in Mexico policy to deter migrants from claiming asylum along the U.S.'s southern border.
Al Jazeera report. Pro-Donald Trump protesters storm U.S. Capitol. Pro-Donald Trump protesters, upset at the outcome of the presidential election, stormed the U.S. Capitol Wednesday as Congress met to tally the electoral votes that certify Joe Biden's election as president. Protesters overwhelmed U.S. Capitol Police outside and numerous protesters breached security and entered the Capitol building, creating a scene of chaos and causing members of Congress to flee the House and Senate chambers to be safely locked down in their offices while some were evacuated elsewhere.
BBC report. Breonna Taylor. 2 Louisville officers fired over roles in shooting. Detectives Miles Cosgrove and Joshua Janes are the latest officers to be dismissed over the shooting in March last year. The incident in Kentucky caused outrage, spurring protests against racism and police brutality. Ms. Taylor, 26, died when police raided her home in connection to a drug case. The FBI said Mr. Cosgrove fired the shot that killed Ms. Taylor at her home in Louisville. Mr. Janes, the newspaper said, was fired for violating the police force's policy for truthfulness and search warrant preparation.
BBC report. Kim Jong-un says North Korea's economic plan failed. He was speaking at the opening of a rare congress of his ruling Workers' Party, only the 8th in its history. North Korea closed its borders last January to prevent the spread of COVID-19, despite claiming to have no cases of the virus. That has left it cut off from its neighbor and ally, China. Trade between the two has plummeted by about 80%. Typhoons and floods have devastated homes and crops in North Korea, which remains under strict international sanctions, including over its nuclear program.
Deutsche Welle report. Arsenal's Mesut Ozil to sign deal with Istanbul's Fenerbahce, reports. German midfielder Mesut Ozil is in advanced talks to join Istanbul's Fenerbahce club, Turkish media reported on Wednesday. Ozil is expected to sign a 3.5-year contract with the Turkish club, according to the Demirören news agency. The 32-year-old, who helped lead Germany to its 2014 World Cup victory, added fuel to the rumors by tweeting an old photo of himself in Istanbul. Other outlets reported that Ozil was in talks with American team DC United, in the Major League Soccer (MLS).
BBC report. White Bengal tiger cub born at Nicaragua Zoo. The female cub, named Nieves Snow, is being raised by the zoo director's wife after the cub's mother rejected Nieves. Zoo director Eduardo Sacasa said Nieves, who is just over a week old, was the first white Bengal tiger to be born in the Central American nation. Mr. Sacasa said that the mother, a yellow and black Bengal tiger who was rescued from a circus 5 years ago, could not produce milk to feed Nieves.
Deutsche Welle report. Coronavirus Digest. UK reports highest daily COVID deaths since April. The country has been struggling to bring a second wave under control. Germany on Tuesday announced an extension of a lockdown until the end of January. Health workers are the first in line for vaccination in the coming days, while vaccination centers across the country are not expected to be operational until next week. Los Angeles ambulances have been told to stop transporting some patients with extremely low survival chances, as hospitals reach capacity and resources run low.
CNN report. Most Georgia voters say Senate runoff elections conducted fairly, CNN exit poll shows. Most Georgia voters in the runoff elections that will determine control of the U.S. Senate say they are confident that the votes will be counted accurately, according to the early results of an exit poll conducted for CNN and other news networks by Edison Research. About 3/4 feel that way, a sharp contrast with the mere majority who say the state's presidential election in November was conducted fairly.
Al Jazeera report. China extends debt relief to DR Congo amid COVID-19 crisis. China has granted some debt relief to the Democratic Republic of the Congo (DRC) to help it overcome economic fallout from the coronavirus pandemic, the Congolese Foreign Ministry said on Wednesday. As a result, the DRC will not have to repay its interest-free loans from China that matured at the end of 2020. The ministry did not say how much this amounted to. China has extended debt relief worth over $2 billion to developing countries under a Group of 20 (G20) framework aimed at giving those hammered by the COVID-19 crisis some financial breathing space.
Fox report. Philippines flight attendant raped, killed at New Year's Eve party, 11 men charged. A Philippine Airlines flight attendant died after being raped at a New Year's Eve party, and all of the 11 men who were with her have been charged with her rape and homicide, it was revealed Tuesday. Christine Angelica de Serra, 23, was found unconscious in the empty bathtub of her room at the City Garden Grand Hotel in Makati City early Jan. 1. The Philippine Daily Inquirer said. Friends and hotel staff raced the Filipino stewardess to a nearby hospital, where she was later pronounced dead, officials told the paper.
Fox report. NC Governor taps National Guard for COVID-19 vaccine distribution. North Carolina Gov. Roy Cooper announced Tuesday that he mobilized the National Guard to help distribute coronavirus vaccines as the state ranked among the worst in the country regarding how quickly residents were receiving the first dose of the inoculation. Ensuring COVID-19 vaccines are administered quickly is our top priority right now. We will use all resources and personnel needed. I've mobilized the NC National Guard to provide support to local health providers as we continue to increase the pace of vaccinations, he tweeted.
CNN report. This female boxer in Uganda is inspiring young women to fight for themselves. Self-defense, an essential tool for women living in Katanga, is a concept Helen Balik knows very well. In this slum, one of the largest in Kampala, Uganda's capital city, boxing gives women the opportunity to learn a new skill and keeps them off the streets. You have to fight if you want to survive, says Balik. As a professional boxer, she has been throwing jabs and uppercuts for the past 15 years.
CNN report. George W. Bush will attend Biden's inauguration. Jimmy Carter will not travel to ceremony. Former President George W. Bush will attend President-elect Joe Biden's inauguration, and former President Jimmy Carter will not, their respective representatives said Tuesday. Bush and former First Lady Laura Bush will attend the inauguration, according to Freddie Ford, Bush's chief of staff. The Bushes also attended Barack Obama and Donald Trump's first inaugurations. President and Mrs. Bush look forward to returning to the Capitol for the swearing-in of President Biden and Vice President Harris, Ford said in a statement.
Fox report. Ukraine seizes 1 ton of heroin heading to Europe. Ukrainian officials say they have seized about 1.1 tons of heroin that smugglers intended to take into European Union countries and that 4 Turkish citizens have been detained in the case. A statement late Tuesday from the National Prosecutor General's office said the heroin was seized in the city of Lviv, about 30 miles from the Polish border. It said the heroin originated in Pakistan and came into the country via the Black Sea port of Odessa.
Thank you for watching 5 p.m. recap. To be notified, you can subscribe our channel and activate the bell.